The first time I realized that I needed to do a better job of celebrating wins was so funny. It was a colleague of mine acknowledged an email, like something that small, but he acknowledged an email that I'd written, and he was just like, that was a really good email. And, it's somebody on my team who, of course, they're on my email list, but usually that's so that if there's a problem with an email, like a link doesn't work in it, or somebody is complaining in the support box about something, that they've gotten the email. They don't have to go searching for it. It's like the one that went out this morning, so they can go find it in their own and see what it appeared like. But no, he actually read it. So first of all, that was a huge win. But the first time he said something about an email that contained a story that, resonated with a lot of my listeners in a big way, I realized that I never even stop and give myself credit for that when I've come up with a message that really resonates. And that's really what it's all about. We spend so much time and energy talking about that, right? That's the whole name of the game. And it was just such an eye-opener that we let those things go very quickly past us. The same guy actually did it. So really a very thoughtful, right? And mindful, and also, I think, thoughtful about the way that it hits somebody else when you say it. You don't just keep it to yourself kind of guy. So there's my party right there, is my acknowledgement of, I hire pretty cool people, and I like that. But he acknowledged me for, having a client and traveling to another state to do a half marathon with her, even though it was entirely for her. It was, it was definitely not my pace. It wasn't really an achievement for me. It was something just to be her Sherpa and support by her side. But I wasn't on the sidelines. I was doing it with her. I did every step with her. And he said, that's really, who does that? And, it took somebody else acknowledging that to really celebrate, what a thing that is, that not everybody does that. And you've got things you're doing like that every single day for customers and clients as well. I can think of one I'm going to share with you right now. Today, I had a 30-minute consultation with someone, and we were talking about how we could collaborate and how I could help her. And, I ended up spending 55 minutes with her, and, I didn't necessarily have that time to give up. I had other things staring at me that I needed to be doing. And this was one. I have several podcasts I need to record today. We're batching today, and it's later in the day than I actually like to be working. But she needed it, and I know she's got this in her. But I know when someone is on the edge of, if I don't have a win here soon, I'm going to give up, and I'm going to convince myself that I can't do this, that somebody else can, but I can't. Or I'm not going to be able to go back to my spouse or my partner and say, I need to invest in this. I know I'm not making anything yet, but I need to invest in this too. And I just felt, the need to give her that extra time to realize there are concrete steps right now that we can take, that you can go into action. You can't keep putting walls up about why you're not ready and why you have to do this, and that you don't have a list. And I said, here's what you need. You need to get some conviction in your voice, and we're going to do this. But I want you to know that too. And I don't know if you caught it, but it actually caught in my voice, and I hadn't planned on that. But it's easy to be there. I've been there, and I am now 59. I'm a year or 10 years, a decade beyond the point where I was struggling every day. I was in my pajamas a lot, still at the end of the day. And it wasn't that I wasn't working. It wasn't that I wasn't trying to learn anything that I didn't know that I needed to know in order to make it work. But there were times I thought, I don't know if I could do this, and it was like I could look back 5 minutes ago. I was, you know, in the middle of life, in the middle of America with zero debt, making the middle 600s. And it's like, how could I be here? How could that happen? You know? And so, for those of you who think, oh, it's easy for you, you're really successful. Well, nobody started that way. Nobody did. I promise you. And I promise you, I have also been at the bottom. You haven't done some of the things I've done. I'm just going to guess. And maybe you've done things that are far harder and far worse. And I will give you that credit too, because I'm sure that's true. Well, let's dive into this. Small work wins for your health and fitness business. And before, very briefly, I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to She Means Fitness Business. It's a division of Voice for Fitness. And we know that most of you listeners want to be an inspirational example to other midlife women. And you need and deserve a profitable health and fitness business. It's why I coach, and it's why I've done it for 25 years. So right now, what I want you to do is we're going to dive into this episode, but I want you to get the health and fitness coaches scorecard. Just take your own temperature. Like, go through the checklist. What are you doing? What are you needing to do? It takes you 2 minutes. You'll find exactly where your holes are. I'm giving you the list of things that someone who's successful has to have. The bare minimum. It's on a single sheet of paper. It's not a lot of them. It's just a few of them. And I promise you that you will find some value in this. Okay, so I want you to celebrate the small stuff. It's what we're talking about. It's a party today here. We get so caught up in comparison mode and go, 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 do more, mission impossible. And that's crazy that we miss all that we've done. You, potentially, if you're listening, you've battled cancer and you won this year. Hello, you know who you are. You've done a fitness competition at 70. You know who you are too. You've launched a podcast. You started a company. You donated to charity. I mean, all of these little things. And then there's other things that you may be overlooking. So I want to share a few of them. But I also am calling on you, even though you didn't have your hand up yet. Share something that you know that you should be celebrating, but you've underwrote it. You passed it over. So that's your homework. I'm going to ask you to do this because if you will post something at the end of these show notes, I promise you that somebody else will post it. Somebody else will post another thing. And we all need to see these. So if you're a Flipping 50 Menopause Fitness specialist, your private Facebook group is a great place to share. Here's some small work wins that I think we all need to stop stepping over. You rocked a presentation. Whether that was going live on social, whether that was a masterclass or webinar, depending on what you call it, you got up on stage and did it. Maybe you got yourself landed on the media. And by the way, as I'm delivering this is the end of July. If you're not thinking about what is the media pitch you're going to make for back to school time and fall, you should be doing that right now. You're going to want to pitch it in about a week so that it lands in about 2 weeks. They want about that much notice, not more, not less. So beyond that, created a branding that feels like you. Really, like you're in your colors, you love the font, you look at it, you love everything about it. If there is anything that you put out there on social media in PDFs that you share, your videos, your logos, your web pages that you don't love, let's change it. Just change it. Getting your inbox to zero. Man, I'm coming over to celebrate with you if you do that, because right now, I'm not celebrating right now. Reaching out to those business accelerators. I'm like, who are those people who for you always seem to send you some business that maybe you just need to warm up that conversation again. Say hello, let them know, hey, we've got some things coming up this fall. So if you'd love for me to talk to your staff or come over and share this with your members, and do a special meeting or go live for you. I'm happy to do that and happy to offer your community a discount code so reach out to those people. Are you doing that on a regular basis? Give yourself kudos for the follow-ups. Updating your Vita or your resume. So I came from academics and that's what they call it. But update your resume. I know this is a funny thing. And I remember being told, you should update your resume. That'll look great on your resume. People would say that. I'm like, I'm self-employed. Who's going to see it? I'm like, really? But you never know. And who does see it? Well, when I'm applying to be a speaker at National Strength and Conditioning Association, they don't always call, by the way. Sometimes you have to actually reach out and apply. Or, I don't remember actually applying to TEDx if I had to send a resume or not, but I think I probably did. There are always going to be instances where you have to send in a resume and show who you are and why anybody wants to talk to you. So these things are important for a lot of you who might be listening. Probably the one that's most relevant is applying. There are a lot of you, I think, who aspire to do presentations at fitness conferences, or maybe you want to start your own fitness conference. But if you're going to apply to CECs, you want to be maybe a CEC, continuing education provider, you have to send in your resume. They want to know what your background is. They don't just let any Mickey Mouse do that, right? So there are reasons why all of us will want to do it. I just don't love that term. It's going to look good on your resumes. I'm like, where do you think I'm going? I don't want to go work for anybody else anymore. I think I'm unemployable, maybe. And don't say that ever, because you never know. For the right company, the right reasons and lifestyle, you just might be for hire again, right? Gathering all of the as seen in content that you have. Do you know what I mean? Celebrate that. And maybe you need to do that. I don't intend here to give you a to-do list, but it actually might be good for you to do that. So what I mean by that is, it's if you've been in a TEDx talk, number one, and that should be there. But if you've been on NBC and ABC and CBS, if you've, been published in Shape Magazine or Prevention or Time Magazine, any, thing, if you've presented at Club Industry or URSA or ACSM, all of those as seen in, Prime Women I've written for years, fitness management. Some of you don't even know what that is because I think it's been gone now for 10 or 15 years maybe. But I wrote for it regularly before it went out of business, like most print magazines that are smaller on smaller scale. But where are those? And then gather them up, gather the logos, or hand off that logo gathering to a virtual assistant. You could even probably go to somebody on Fiverr and say, take an hour, please go find these logos and give me the images. Put them in a file right here. Boom, done. And then get them put on your website somewhere. How about celebrating, taking time to set the day? I don't know what your morning looks like, but I'll share a little bit about mine. I never wanted to join the club actually of taking thyroid medication, but I do. And I'll also aspire to wean out of that and off of that and have been able to reduce at times. But I'm playing with a little different kind of a cocktail right now, which is what I call it, when you dial certain things up and other things down. So we're playing, but I have to take thyroid medication. So first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, and that for me, it's usually around 4 o'clock. I wake up, I roll over, I take the thyroid meds with that glass of water sitting right there on the nightstand. If I have to get up, I will get up and go to the restroom, but then I'll go grab my phone and my earbuds, and I will find a chair or the couch and lay back down, and I'll do anywhere from 45, I've even done shorter, I've done 30, but to 55 minutes of meditation. Huge Joe Dispenza fan. And Then I'm up and on my way. And I'm generally working for 2 or 3 hours first, uninterrupted. So that means there is no, I'm not scrolling through anything. I'm not opening a browser. I might be on a browser, but I'm not opening my email. So I'm not responding to anybody else. I'm in control of how I spend that time. So once you open up that email, it's gone. If your phone rings, if you answer it, your time is gone. Now, if it's somebody in my family, it's different, but you have to set your day. So that is becoming a ritual. I am currently in a moment where 5 days a week, I do an 8 a.m. phone call. And we're currently, unfortunately, in a record breaking summer. Yeah, I didn't know I signed up to be a part of this one. In Phoenix, this is like day 30, over 110 degrees. Today might have broken it, actually. It was super humid, but not quite as hot. So this Midwestern girl was super happy. I was like, sweat. I remember sweat. I like sweat instead of an oven. It was wonderful. But I have to go for a walk if I'm going to get one in before 8 o'clock, because what I found is I've tried this past month anyway of walking after my coaching call. And so I don't get out the door until maybe 8:45 or 9. I've got that video all loaded up and buttoned up for the day. And I'm like nauseous. It's that hot. So, it, that's a part of my setting the day. And that has become, it's only taken like 3 weeks of getting into that routine again to realize, why did I ever stop this? Why? Because it's life changing. I mean, this is not necessarily fitness walking. I'm not walking for speed or breathlessness. I'm just walking. And it's just like changing my day. So celebrate the fact that you gave that time to yourself and you said, no, taking it back from anybody else. You can't have this time. It's blocked off. Nobody on my team ever puts any appointments into my calendar before noon. They're not allowed to. It's happened once or twice, and it won't happen again based on my response. I probably say, okay. All right. Defining the lifestyle that you want unapologetically. I'm going to tell you right now that you're an anomaly. You are an anomaly. You have decided how you want to live, and as a part of that, how you want to work and how you don't. And a lot of people around you in your family and friends may not understand that. They may not understand the lifestyle that you want. They may not understand how, you tell me if this resonates with you, but your people and your friends and your community feels like it's very, very real, even though it's online. Like I feel like I talk to a lot of people all day, even though I live alone. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. They think maybe that you might be lonely, or that ask you, like, what is it that you do? What do you do? Like, I've gone to I don't know, an esthetician. It's a hard word for me to say. And she's in a facility, a business with a family member, actually, who is a physician, a functional doctor. And so I've seen them enough coming in and out that, she'll say, my brother was saying, what exactly does Deborah do? And she's like, I know I've known you for several years, but I really don't know. And we've talked about it. People won't understand necessarily what you do. It's why, finding your group, your people, being a part of a mastermind where we do get together face to face. Sometimes you get together online, face to screen. Sometimes these things are really important, but define the lifestyle that you want unapologetically. I want freedom to be able to work from anywhere, or to be able to not work, for a week. I want to be able to say, I'm going to a week-long meditation with Joe Dispenza and Marco Island. And so, I won't be here. Take care of the things, customer service people, please. Thank you. And, if there's an emergency, you know how to reach me. But if there's not, don't reach me. That's, I want that kind of a lifestyle, and I love my independence. I value freedom. And I suspect that if you're doing what you're doing, you do as well. It's not just the fitness and the wellness, the health, but it's how you choose to deliver it. Because you could probably go to work for a doctor, a physician, you could go to work for a gym pretty easily, in fact. And if you're just somebody who shows up on time, you probably will get the job because there's a lot of people not showing up and not on time. Another celebrating is following up consistently. It's putting things into action really does count, but the hardest part is often following up and doing it again and again and again and again, because often it feels like rejection, rejection, rejection. You're going to leave a lot of messages when you call. And I'm talking about not just, make calls, today, not that kind of follow up. I mean, if you call one person, tracking that one person in the context you've made, the message you made, the follow-up message you left, the text that you left because you wanted to let them know I called you and left a message. And then you email and let them know, hey, I called you the other day. I missed you. Wanted to make sure this got through to you. How many times are you following up? It might take years. I remember this and I've shared, but it's so worth repeating. In our fitness business, when I was personal training director, one of the managers at one of 3 locations, it's their job. They're the membership management and management of the facility as well. She would report on Monday mornings different stories about, people coming in and they would cry. They finally came in and purchased the membership after years, or months at the very least of over and over somebody reaching out. And, the words that they say are things like, thank you so much for not giving up on me. They don't say, I'm so glad now you're going to stop calling me. They say, thank you for not giving up on me. If you flip that in your head, the script, it's that people want to, they're just caught up in their own life, busy. But every time you call and say, I wanted to check on you, we do have a new program starting up. If this is the right time for you, I want you to jump in. If you have any hesitations, you have any questions, give me a call. But you know what you're doing? You're reminding them there's somebody who is the perfect person for this. There's somebody who can be a regular exerciser, who you think of as a participant in their fitness program. And they may be struggling right now to see themselves that way. And you're gifting them. So celebrate that you're following up consistently. Celebrate getting no every day. Every day for a week, make it your job to get a no, because you know what you have to be doing if you're doing that? You're asking every day. And earlier, I share some celebrating small wins, and giving a woman today a consultation that should have been 30 minutes, giving her 55 because she really needed it. Because I just sense that she's like, I want to do this, but you're in the snow and you're spinning your tires. Those of you who don't live in northern climates, in the mud, sand, whatever. But you have to be asking. She said, right now, I don't have any money coming in. I don't have any clients. And I wanted to ask her, but it was too sensitive, I think, for me to ask her this. She was just not in that position. But I needed to ask her, and I should probably have done so, asking, how many people did you ask to become a client today? Because if the answer to that is 0, the yes is going to be the 0. You have to ask. And often you're going to have to ask several times of the same person, often because you're going to leave messages. You're going to send emails, but they're not going to be received. They're going to go to spam and trash. No, they're not ignoring you, and they're not just deleting. They didn't even see them, or their email, like mine, has 7,000 emails in it. I know. I don't know why I can't delete all those, but anyway. we're not going to give me therapy on that. So next, hire support. Celebrate it. If you've hired some support of any kind, support to prep your meals, go to your grocery store and get them for you, to clean your house so that you can do the work that you want to do and meant to do, but also for the virtual assistants who are maybe creating the post that you tell them, this is what I want. Create this image. I want this text. I want it to go out at this time. You can spell it out for them and lay it out, but you don't necessarily have to be the one spending the 15 minutes doing it. If you have to create, 12 posts for the week and it takes 15 minutes for each of those, you know how it is when you get in there, you start rabbit holing it and changing this, changing that. It doesn't take 15 minutes, it takes longer. You spend hours doing something somebody else should be doing in minutes because they won't overthink it. I promise you, they won't overthink it. Now, it might not be the way you would do it, but it might be better. That's what you have to remember. But hire support, delegate, celebrate that all day, every day. And even if, and that's the next one actually, is delegating and letting things go. Even if it doesn't go well the first time you do it, or the third or the fourth or sixth time that you do it, keep doing it. Keep getting up to bat and keep your eye on the ball. Make sure that you're not just hiring, but that you're onboarding and training and overseeing. So if you step away and they go astray, whose fault is that? You gotta still have them know what they're being evaluated on and then evaluate them on that. And it's simple. It's pretty simple then. Firing the wrong person for the job. Celebrate that. Because if you do it and you did it in short time, like quickly, right? What's the saying? Hire slow, fire fast. Do that. You will always regret not doing that. Investing in a coach to accelerate your progress. Oh my gosh. Yes, celebrate that. To the woman that I was speaking with today, I also said, she's in a program and I congratulated her on that. And, I remember, when I was, 10 years ago, starting over, really scrapping and from scratch. And, 9 years ago and 8 years ago is very, very lean, more going out than coming in. And, then it started to turn around just a little bit, right? But then I joined a mastermind and I was like scared to death. It's like, I don't know, I might need this money to eat. Should I do this? Should I not do this? So the cash was there. It wasn't like a credit card decision, but it was like, could I use this cash in this way? And, long story short, I've continued to join that same mastermind for 7 years. It's paid off pretty well, or I would not have invested the kind of money that I have. But not only that, but I, over the course of the 7 years, I've joined 2 others. I've joined other programs, hired other professionals. You invest if you want to get better. It's just a part of the necessary step that you take. So investing in a coach is a thing to celebrate. If you're with the right coach, you are going to feel better right away. I promise you. Send the email for your beta program. Celebrate that, right? And, this is one of those big things. It's like, that's the first time you're sending it. If you feel and you can go back to that place where you ever sent your first beta launch, like you didn't even have a program, but we'll all do this again and again and again. We're going to create a new program, and we're going to have a beta group. We're going to have to pilot it and test it. And so you're going to do these over and over in your career. So there you go. Celebrate that. Created an email funnel for your course. So when you create an email funnel, I hope that you're doing it this way. You are actually sitting down and you're dumping it all into one Word doc. So you'll have it there, even though you copy and paste, you'll put it in your CRM. And you will do this thinking, thought one, I mean, where are they in their head? They just bought this. What do they need to know? What do they not need to know? What do I include? What do I leave out so I don't overwhelm them? And then the next email is how soon should it come after? But you're putting it right there in the doc. So it's all going to flow together and you know what you just wrote, now what you're writing in this one, and you know what you're going to write for the next email. And you're going to sit, you're going to write this and put a big block of time, and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to take a 3-hour time block and I'm going to finish this. Get it done. You may go back and do the editing and doll it up and dress it up with design and whatever. But that's huge. And that's a moneymaker, right? So you're selling something, you're nurturing them so that they will enjoy it, use it, and get good results, tell other people, or buy your next thing because they'll be ready for more. Very cool. You reviewed your product modules. What I mean by this is you ever created a course? Know this. To all the quick starts, I have bad news. We will have to review our courses and update them. And gosh, I've done this 3 times now for my very first course. It's not the fun part. The fun part is writing that course the very first time. And then there's the rewriting of it and going back and saying, what would make it better? You have to listen to it, watch it, your own voice, listening to the content, looking at the content, see how would I do it this time if I were going to make it better, but for a lot of us, that's not fun. We'd rather build it from scratch or imagine it from scratch and then get it to a certain place and have somebody else do it. But if you are reviewing your product modules or any videos you've put out to say, my hair color, that was 3 hair colors ago. Maybe I should change that, right? So be ready, be willing. And here's another one from me. It's the last one, and then you can share yours. Take time off work. Celebrate that. Because a lot of entrepreneurs don't. We like what we do so much. That's why often we become entrepreneurs, because we love what we're doing. And we love kind of being in charge and having freedom of our own schedules. But we also struggle with taking time off. And that's not going to work very well for you long term into the future. So learn how to take time off, little bits of time, maybe during the course of a day, and three days, say every month. Maybe it's a week every quarter. But look at what does it look like, and then sit down with your calendar and start doing that. This, again, we're in the second half of the year as I record this live. It doesn't matter when you're listening to it, but a lot of people will do this first in their year planning for next year. Say, okay, what do I want? What blocking off the times I am not working. Like I'm going to a vacation. I'm going to a meditation retreat. I'm going to be in Iowa for my son's wedding, right? Just saying, I'm the mother of the groom. So that's coming. So congratulate yourself for doing all these little things, but I would love for you to share. Not all of these, of course, will fit with you as you're listening. You're in a unique place in your business, but I guarantee you that at least 50% of them are probably things that you're doing, but you're not stopping to acknowledge. And it's those who pass by these and think this feels like giving M&Ms for pooping, or for graduation ceremonies for kindergartners, or those ribbons we're giving every student athlete participant. It's just too much. It's those people who think this is silly that end up hating work, burning out, and or burning out everyone around them. So take some time, really, and take a friend, take a colleague, if you have a team member, take your partner and sit down and just say, look how far I've come. Look what I've created. Look how many people we've helped. Talk about some of those individual people. Your numbers may not be big, but the impact you made on one person's life probably is huge. So take the time and really acknowledge that. And I would be honored if you'd reach out and just share a story, because this will buoy everyone else up. That if you stick with it, these are the reasons we get out of bed in the morning. When somebody says, you've made such a big difference in my life, every once in a while, there are nasty people, mean people who I don't know why they take the time, but on a free to them YouTube video will take the time to say, your hair really, that's not attractive on anybody. Somebody says that. People say that. And other things too. Like the sound quality was so bad, I just turned you off. However, this is them commenting, so they hadn't turned me off yet. Oh my goodness. But those little comments that wash it all away are, I've been following you for 2 years. You've changed my life. It's like, thank you for saying that, because you never really know, when you're putting those out, it's one way communication besides the haters who don't like my hair. There's that. All right. The show notes for today will be at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/small work wins, and celebrate them. Celebrate one today and one tomorrow, and put it on your, post-it note in your mirror or your nightstand before you go to sleep at night, or the first thing when you wake up. Do it for good things that are going to come, or for things that did happen. But I hope you'll take the time to do this, because the work you're doing in the world today matters. It does matter. I see you. I see the work you're doing. I see the struggle that you may be having, and the success that you feel like you're not having yet and feel like it's a little too far away. You can do this. Stay the course. The world needs you right now more than ever.